Mad by beccaliz27. Chapter 8. Penelope. "Why is the neckline of this gown so low?" said Lady Featherington as she attempted to pull her dress up. "Mamma," Penelope admonished, "this is the way the gown was designed. Madame Delacroix lowered the bust of the dress to give me a more natural waist. And this way my bosom, while still being on display, will not be pushed up all the way under my chin, something which I find very uncomfortable. Madame Delacroix assured me that it would be most flattering," said Penelope as she smoothed the skirts of her gown. "It is quite scandalous," sniffed her mamma. "I dare say you will attract quite the number of stares to your bubbies this evening." Penelope sighed as she looked towards the mirror and stared at her reflection. She looked like she had always wanted to look. Her hair had been curled gently and styled half up, with curls falling gently on her back, and small tendrils had been pulled to the front to frame her face. Not usually one for makeup, she had permitted Mrs. Varley to the smallest amount of rouge to her lips and cheeks, as well as kohl to bring out the blue of her eyes. Mrs. Varley had wanted to apply a patch, and had stated they were coming back into fashion, but Penelope had refused. She wanted to look like herself, and not be heavily made up. Madame Delacroix had outdone herself with the dress, and the adjustments that she had made worked wonders for Penelope's figure. The lowering of the bust allowed Penelope's bosom to fall naturally, while still providing support. The sleeves of the dress were capped and were cut to the middle of the shoulder, which showed off her creamy and flawless shoulders, and her dress was covered in the most beautiful silver embroidery, and small gemstones twinkled when it reflected the light. "Oh, Penelope, at a complete loss for words, said. "You look beautiful, Miss Penelope," said Mrs. Varley as she fastened the necklace and gave her shoulder a squeeze. "Don't let anyone tell you differently," said Mrs. Varley as she met her eyes in the mirror. Penelope nodded and gave Mrs. Varley a grateful smile. "Well, I just need my gloves, and I am ready. Mamma, Prudence, should we be on our way?" The carriage ride to the Cowper's estate was but a short journey from their home, and as the carriage jostled along, Penelope could feel her nervousness growing. This would be the first time she would be truly out in public since Lady Whistledown's column. Yes, she had visited Madame Delacroix's and gone to Gunter's, but this was the first time since the column that she would be in the full presence of the ton. Penelope had prepared herself for the comments that would undoubtedly be spoken behind her back and the pitying stares, but this was still a daunting task to face. She closed her eyes and said to herself, "You are more than what they think. You are kind, compassionate, brave, and intelligent. You are more than equal to any of the young ladies here." The carriage then came to a stop, and Penelope opened her eyes and let out the breath that she had been holding. It was time. The Cowpers had clearly spared no expense when it came to preparing their ball. The walls of the ballroom were festooned with white flowers and silver and white draperies. The chandeliers bathed the room in a twinkling light. An orchestra had been set up in the corner of the ballroom, and across from the room was the largest champagne fountain that Penelope had ever seen. She was so lost in the examination of the room that she had not noticed the multiple pairs of eyes that had fallen upon her till her mother nudged her with her elbow. "I told you that dress would draw attention," whispered her mother into her ear before plastering a smile onto her face as they walked into the ballroom. Penelope forced herself to take several deep breaths as she followed her mother. She expected the looks that received to be pitying and cruel, but found that the most of the young ladies and gentlemen were staring to be appraising, almost as if they were seeing something they had never encountered before. Penelope scanned the room and quickly found the Bridgerton family across the room. "Mamma, may I go and say hello to Lady Bridgerton? I still need to thank her for my wardrobe," asked Penelope politely. "Yes, of course," said her mamma absent-mindedly as she spoke with Prudence, who had unfortunately just torn the hem of her ball gown. Penelope made haste and soon caught Eloise's eye. They met in one of the alcoves that was directly off the main ballroom. "Pen!" squealed Penelope excitedly. "You look stunning! Wait until everyone sees you." "I am starting to think people already have," replied Penelope bashfully. "I have never had so many eyes on me at once. I feel as if I am an animal in a zoo." Eloise laughed. "Come on, let's go find my mother. She is most anxious to see you this evening," said Eloise as she took Penelope's hand and led her across to her mother, who was trying her best to keep her eyes off the table of delectable desserts in front of her. "Mamma, look who I found!" Violet's eyes widened when she saw Penelope. The dear girl looked like an angel sent straight from the heavens. Penelope, you look lovely. Thank you, Lady Bridgerton. I have been trying in vain to write you a thank you letter, but my words do not seem to do me justice. I thank you so much for my beautiful wardrobe. I feel like an entirely different woman. Well, hopefully not too different. We all love you for who you are on the inside, after all. It was then that Anthony's fiancée Kate Sharma, and Benedict joined her side. Miss Featherington, you look beautiful, said Anthony before giving her a small bow. I do not think I have had the pleasure of formally introducing you to my fiancée, Miss Katoni Sharma. Miss Sharma, this is Miss Penelope Featherington, a dear friend to our family. Penelope curtsied to Miss Sharma, who gathered Penelope's hands in her own. You must call me Kate, Miss Featherington. All my friends do. I hope we will become fast friends. Penelope smiled. She immediately liked Kate. Then, Kate, you must call me Penelope. Or Pen, if you would like, said Penelope happily. Your dress is quite exquisite, Penelope, chirped Benedict, who was behind his brother. Thank you, Benedict. Your mother picked it out, in fact, replied Penelope. Penelope and the Bridgertons chatted for several more moments, until Lord Cowper opened the ball and announced the dancing was to begin. Benedict stepped forward and said, Miss Featherington, would you allow me the honour of your first dance this evening? Penelope felt the heat rising to her cheeks. Only Colin never asked her to dance. With pleasure, Benedict. She knew it was improper to address Benedict by his first name, but he was so close of a friend, and she knew that Benedict would not mind. And you must call me Pen, Benedict. I think we have known each other long enough. The dance was a quadrille which did not allow for conversation, but Penelope found Benedict to be an exceptional dance partner with unmatched energy. After their dance, they had a moment to speak where Benedict told Penelope that he had been accepted into the Royal Academy of Art and had been honing his artistic skills. Before Penelope had been able to discuss it more, she found herself being asked to dance by the Viscount himself, Anthony Bridgerton, and then by Simon, the Duke of Hastings, for a dance after Anthony's. There was no doubt in Penelope's mind that they were asking her to dance because they felt badly about Colin's actions at her mother's ball. Still, she loved to dance and was grateful to have a partner. Once she was finished with her dance with the Duke, he brought her to the edge of the floor and then went to find her some lemonade. Kate and Eloise soon found her and joined in at her other side. This is quite a crush, is it not? Said Kate as she found herself. It is so warm in here. Yes, I do believe Lady Cowper has invited the entirety of London, mused Eloise. Speaking of, look who approaches, said Eloise. Penelope followed Eloise's stare and groaned. What? Who is it? Asked Kate. It is Cressida Cowper, the daughter of our host. She despises me, whispered Penelope. Who could despise you, Penelope? You are lovely, said Kate reassuringly. I do not know why she hates me so much, but whenever I see her she goes out of her way to say something cruel to me, said Penelope as she watched the young lady approach. Never fear, dear Pen. Kate and I are here. We will not let her hurt you, said Eloise as she squeezed her friend's hand. Kate, Eloise, trilled Cressida. It is so good to see you here, she added, pointedly ignoring Penelope. Penelope is here as well, Cressida, said Eloise flatly. Oh, yes, dear Penelope. I am surprised to see you here. And why is that, Cressida? Asked Kate. Cressida's eyes widened. She was obviously quite surprised that Kate would question her in her own home. Well, just with everything that was printed in Lady Whistledown's latest column, I did not think you would have the nerve to show your face. To think someone that you were so close to would say such unspeakable things, said Cressida mockingly. How embarrassing for you. Penelope could see from the corner of her eyes Kate and Eloise's jaws drop at Cressida's boldness. They clearly did not realise how rude Cressida could be, but today was not the day that Penelope was going to put up with Cressida's taunts. Well, clearly I do have the nerve to show my face, Cressida, replied Penelope, her smile never leaving her face. Sneered Cressida. I have to say that is a lovely dress, Penelope. It does me good to see you looking so well. The adjustments that Madame Delacroix have done wonders for your figure. Whatever are you implying, Cressida? Said Kate coldly. Oh, well, just that Madame Delacroix has managed to make our dear Penelope look less fat. I always worried for you. It is so unhealthy for young ladies of our age to weigh more than 10 stone. Perhaps your new gowns will motivate you to lose the extra weight, said Cressida, looking to Penelope to see if her insult had hit its mark. Before Penelope had a chance to reply, She felt a presence behind and turned her head. She was surprised to see a gentleman approaching their small group. He was by far the most handsome man she had ever seen. Maybe even more handsome than Colin, if she was being honest. He was tall and well built, with a shock of black hair and the sharpest blue eyes she had ever seen, like chips of ice. "Ladies," he said, bowing, his eyes never leaving Penelope's. "Mr. Sterling!" cried Cressida. "You must come to find me for our dance. I have saved the waltz just for you," added Cressida seductively as she waved her fan towards her décolletage. The gentleman in question gave Cressida a hard look before turning his penetrating gaze back to Penelope. "I am sorry to interrupt your conversation, ladies, but miss, I have seen you dancing all night, and I have been working up the courage to ask you for a dance with me. Would you do me the honour?" Penelope was at a loss for words. She did not even know this gentleman. "But you cannot dance with her," said Cressida fretfully. "You have not been introduced. 'Twould be incredibly ill-bred." "Then let me do the honours." "Let me do the honours, then," said Kate. "Mr. Sterling, please allow me to introduce you to Miss Penelope Featherington. Penelope, this is Mr. Michael Sterling, cousin to the Earl of Kilmartin." "It is my pleasure to meet you, Mr. Sterling, and yes, I would be delighted to dance with you," replied Penelope as she took the gentleman's hand. "Mr. Sterling, you promised this dance to me," whined Cressida. Mr. Sterling proceeded to give Cressida the coldest stare she had ever seen. "I apologise, Miss Cowper, but I would prefer to rescind my invitation, as I would like to dance with Miss Featherington instead." Penelope's own jaw dropped as she watched as Cressida shrunk back in pure mortification. What Mr. Sterling had just done was not done in polite society. He had just given Cressida Cowper the cut direct. Penelope looked towards Eloise and Kate, who were having incredible difficulty hiding their glee. "I do hate a bully," said Mr. Sterling loudly, before escorting her to the floor. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. Oh, I am enjoying this. I love period dramas, and I love the drama in between them. I love how everyone is looking at Penelope like, oh my god, she looks amazing. And of course, bullies being put in their place. That is a personal satisfaction of mine to see that. And Kate almost immediately just like, oh, I like you. You're nice. Okay, I'm keeping you safe now. Love that. And Michael slamming down Cressida. Anyway, you guys know the drill. I'll see you in the next chapter.